Welcome. I'm Doug, and this is Dying to Retire, a podcast on retirement and then some. If you've been here before, you may have noticed things look a little different. I've been running this show as an audio version, mostly of my YouTube channel. Same episode, same content, just audio. That's changing going forward. This feed is on its own content made for this format. The old YouTube audio versions are coming down, but what stays is everything I made here original just for this channel. I'll still be covering my retirement, the house being built in Guatemala, the residency process, and all of that. I'm still over there on YouTube, Dying to Retire. And if you must see the face that's made for radio, just go over there. There will be some crossover, but if you want the full experience, unfiltered and explicit, this is where it lives. All right, let's get started. All right, I think it's about time I give an update on the house being built outside of Antigua, Guatemala, as I like to call it, Casa Douglas or Douglas. Keep getting called Douglas when I'm down there. It should be done in about 2 months. It is about 2 months behind. It was supposed to be done at the end of this month, but it's going well. I'd rather have it done correctly than done quickly. And so that's where we're at now. My real estate agent and the builder sent me a couple photos. I was down there about a month ago, taking a little bit over a month ago, took a few pictures on my YouTube channel. I actually have photos of it, some videos of how it looked. Went down with my niece. She enjoyed it, really liked the property. Excuse me. Allergies here in Maryland are killing me. The gated community is looking nice. The reason my real estate agent had to contact me the other day is they needed my information, my DPI number, my NEAT, which is my tax ID number, which is almost like my DPI number, except the last four numbers are a little bit different. They needed a copy of the contract, which I think is funny. And this is one thing you'll find out dealing with them down there. Even though they're the ones, they have a copy of it with a lawyer, they still needed my copy, which is the same copy they have, because they're trying to set up the account with the electric company because they're getting ready to set up the electrical part of the house. So once they get the electric all lined up, which they already ran it, they just need to set it up where they have an account down with the local electric company, because that is one thing I will have to pay. The water's part of the HOA, but this is what they'll be setting up. So they had to get that information from me. I got that all sent down to my real estate agent and to the builder. So they have all that information. Like I said, they sent me some photos of the first floor and second floor, how it's coming along. First floor is looking nice. They have finally leveled the first floor. They haven't put the tile down in there, but they're doing the skim coat on all the walls and stuff. So it's coming along really nicely. I'll ask the real estate agent to send me some updated photos this coming week because she lives in Antigua. She's not that far away from my gated community. So that is the updated status of how Casa Douglas is coming along. Recently, I did an episode on YouTube where I took Covey's 4-quadrant time management tool and made a tool for those of you just like me are thinking about retiring abroad. Now, I am already past the part of thinking. Now, the tool is to help you stop wasting your time going through videos and podcasts, and mainly this was designed for videos, but you can do it for podcasts at Spotify and stuff. So that you're not wasting your time on what I call doom scrolling, looking at videos that look really cool and sexy, but they really don't help you with that decision thinking about moving abroad. They really don't give you a lot of information other than looking cool and sexy. And since this is an audio format, let me explain it to you. And like I, excuse me, I do have an example of this. So if you want to see how this looks, you can look at my YouTube channel because I recently did uh, an episode. Excuse me, allergies again. An episode on this, but I also have this in a PDF form. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I don't know where I'm getting the freaking hiccups from. I have this on a P. There goes hiccups. I have this on PDF as well. So you can reach out to me at dyingtoretirepodcast@gmail.com. And I will send you a PDF of this. Also, it's got a couple of instructions regarding how to do playlists, and I'll about to cover that. So getting ahead of myself there. But as this is a visual medium, if you remember Covey's framework, it's a four little square rectangle things. And for each, they had a vertical axis and a horizontal axis. The horizontal axis going up on top. For the first column, it had a label that said urgent. For this purposes, I'm going to call it urgent. Next one going over on the right-hand side says not urgent. Now for the vertical axis, the first row says helps me decide. The second row down will say just looks good. And I'm going to go through the quadrant. Quadrants going left to right. For the first row is quad one, quad two, and the second row is quad three, quad four. Quad two is going to be our sweet spot. So I'm going to talk about them going through right now. So let's go quad one, quad three, quad four. And last, I'm going to talk about quad two. All right. So quad one. Okay. That's one most people get stuck on. See, this is what I think 95% of the videos we all see are satisfying our quad one. Quad one, I labeled this. Okay, let me get back a second here. Covey called this quadrant the firefighter. This is the crisis now, pressing deadline type stuff, right? Remember there, the fires. But for us, we're not looking at fires. But I'm called this one. I'm booking now. It's urgent kind of stuff to help me decide for I'm booking now. So you're like, oh, I got the flight, but I need the hotel, that type of thing. But these videos are also the stuff that says, hey, what's the best things to do when I get there? So I'm not, you know, with thumb up the air or thumb up my ass sitting around waiting to do something. Or you have a spouse who does, I don't want to be sitting around. You better plan my day, that type of stuff. So it's going to show you if you're the first time in the city or first time in that countryside where you're at, what you're going to need to do. Here are the go-to spots on there. So again, it's the I'm booking now, but it makes you want to visit, but it doesn't give you a fuller scope of the things you want to do. So that's quad one. Let's look at quad three now. Quad three, that's in the urgent, just looks good category. Covey called this one the interrupter. Okay. So the interrupter is like the other people's stuff in a way. It's like you're looking out a window and you see stuff. Think about it. You're in a school classroom, the window's open, you're looking out the window, and that catches more of your attention versus what's going into class, what you're supposed to be following the teacher. It is the quick look squirrel. That's literally what it is. So it gets your attention. This is probably the biggest interrupter of your thoughts during the day. So it looks good, but it's really just, the videos are of drone shots, something going on, or it's a bunch of montages, shots of flowers, park, this. It's quick clips with no explanation what's going on, cool fancy music in the background going on, snappy stuff that, oh, this has got a cool beat. Love watching it, right? But it could be anywhere. It really doesn't tell you anything about what you're looking at. Looks cool, looks sexy. Oh, pyramid, this, that, there, jungle, whatever. But it doesn't tell you shit. It really doesn't. But it's sexy, cool as hell, but it doesn't tell you shit. So you come out of it. So like it says, it looks cool, nice, but not really useful. Now let's look at quad four. Okay. Cubby called this one the time waster, right? It's trivia excessive. It we call it quad four just browsing. It's not urgent and it really just looks good. Now in these, they usually have the videos. I call them the hidden travel gems. It's got stuff in there, travel tips. Now some are good and you can go back and look at them later. And that's why I talk about playlist in a second. It's got story travel logs in there. Those are really the personal stories. It doesn't give you the more information you need for when you're looking about traveling abroad. Has general advice, and I'm talking about general advice like, "Oh, bring this sneaker, bring this, don't forget to have pack extra socks. Don't forget to have dude wipes." And that's actually a really good one more than general, but that's average what general advice is. So it's really interesting stuff. It's just browsing, it's interesting, but it doesn't help you make decisions about this is where I want to retire or live abroad at. So that's quad four. Now the sweet spot. This is quad two. I call it planning the real life or planning for real life. Covey called this the leadership quad. And this is the planning and building for real life that prevents failure, get you there. The stuff, right? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. That's this section right here. It is not urgent, but it helps you decide. This one prevents the fires that is quad one, or can pop up due to quad one. Now, this is covers the cost of living. When I mean cost of living, I'm like, how much is a mortgage if you can get a mortgage here? What's rent? How much do groceries cost? How much does it cost to heat your house if you're in the area? How much costs for air conditioning? So that's electrical, gas, whatever. How much it's going to cost there. How do you actually pay bills? You're moving to a new country. You may not pay bills the same way you pay bills here. It may be more of a cash-based economy than credit or being electronic the way it is here in the United States. You need to know these things. Then they may have more information about uh, residency and visa applications and the steps there. You may be able to show up. Do you have to do the 30 days over and over and over, or is it 60 or 90? Or are you wanting to go get your actual legal residency so you can stay for as long as you want, as long as you keep your residency paper? And then they have the other question, what if you get sick? How is healthcare? What do you take care of it? These are things that tell you the day-to-day stuff that you need to do. And like getting a driver's license, what do you need? All of this stuff. So I call this planning for real life. It's real life day-to-day stuff. So that's the quad. And again, if you want to get a copy of this in PDF, dying to retire podcast at gmail.com, and I'll send it to you. But the next part I want to talk to you, it's called playlist, right? Or I'm calling that playlist. And on the YouTube channel, I'll talk about it. And if you get a copy of this PDF, I actually have it written in there for how to do the playlist. I don't care if it's YouTube or Spotify, but I'm going to focus on YouTube. It's easier there. YouTube allows you to create playlists. And I recommend you for this, create at least 4 playlists, one for each one of these boxes. And when you watch these videos, even if you just start watching 5 seconds, you're able, or 10 seconds, you're able to ascertain what type of video you're watching. If you realize this is any one of these videos, immediately save it to that playlist, the corresponding playlist, and go to the next one. So you know which ones to go to. Because you can, when you have time, you can browse the other. What you're looking for is the really good videos you're going to put in quad two, because those are the ones you want to go back and watch over and over. Because every time you watch that video, there's always going to be an additional piece of nugget information you may have missed the times before that you watched it. Also, the other benefit of having playlists is that we often forget to subscribe to a channel. And you're like, oh my God, I can't remember that channel. The person had the really good video. I can't find it in my history, but I know the video is an X, and you got to type in these crazy things in the search bar and you never can find it. But if you saved it to your playlist but forgot to subscribe, you can find it in your playlist. Excuse me, find it in your playlist. Then go back, subscribe, and now you have it as part where you can pop up as a subscriber, check your notifications so you're going to watch anything new that they're putting out. But at least you have it saved. So the playlist is a great backup to be able to, when you forget to subscribe. So remember that. It's really helpful. It's really important. Hopefully it'll save you time so you don't get wrapped around watching all these good videos, but they are sometimes just there to be eye candy where you don't get stuck doom scrolling. Again, remember, if you want a copy of this, send me an email, dying to retire podcast at gmail.com. All right, moving on. All right, folks, let's talk about retirement, or like I call it, boomer reality. And this is something I came across. I think it's a couple months old now, but have you guys heard it's a thing? It's called the 6-figure limit, and it's a prominent 2026 proposal put out by the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, the CRFB. And they put it out as it's designed to address the Social Security's supposedly looming insolvency by capping the largest retirement payments. I'm going to run this through what they're talking about, this get your reaction. This is what it's going at. So what they're looking at is they want to cap the maximum annual benefits for couples and individuals. So going baseline at the regular full retirement age is 67. They want to cap it at $100,000 for couples, right? And $50,000 for individuals at the normal retirement age. In Okay, everything's gonna be at they wanna do limit scales for age adjustment. So, if you went in to start claiming Social Security at 62, a couple would be capped at 70,000, right? So, think about that would be $35,000 per individual, but if a couple delayed retirement to the age 70, that would be capped at 104,000. So, that's what, $62,000 per individual. So, they're capping it. So they're working really hard. Now, the people that's getting hurt the most out of this are the individuals who actually paid the most into Social Security, the people who were the high earners into Social Security. Most people did not. So this is really penalizing those who put the most money into Social Security who are going to see the least amount of benefit coming out of it. The flip side of this whole thing and the proposal, those who put the least in are gonna get the most out of it. Because the thinking is, well, if you if you did not maximize your earnings when you were, in your adulthood and growing up, got old, if you didn't maximize your earnings, you you shouldn't be penalized for not working as hard as someone else. So you should get more. So it's a socialist concept. So, how they all complain, "Oh my god, Social Security, socialism on thing. We shouldn't have it like that." So their answer is more socialism to defeat socialism. But the people who put the most money in, who were forced to invest in something that they were supposed to get something out, are begin to be the ones penalized more. That's their thinking. That's how they're working on it. There's a paper on it. It is put out by the committee. I will put a link in the description on it. It's a committee for the responsible federal budget. The paper was put out, what, March 24th, 26th. It's called the Six-Figure Limit for Social Security. Here's what's not in the thing. It is not touching on the part to fix the fraud, waste, and abuse that has been running rampant for decades in Social Security, more recently discovered and just the tip of the iceberg found by Doge, the Elon Musk thing, when Trump was elected and put in there. And I'm not trying to say one administration is better than the other or one party is better than the other. I think both parties have been ripping us off. Both parties have been committing fraud, uh, abuse, and stealing the taxpayers' money. I think they're both guilty. I just think one is driving a car heading towards a cliff faster than the other one. That's the only difference between the two. Sorry, I have a cat here that's wanting to jump up on the keyboard. So that's what's going on. So they're not looking at any of that. They're not looking at ways to fix it. They're not looking at ways stopping the people who should not be getting benefits. No, there's politicians and all these TV personalities saying that doesn't happen. I've already seen articles. Do your own research. Recommend everyone always do your own research, and you will see where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. You will see children get their parental Social Security benefits for parents that actually never put into Social Security, but it's projected benefits they would have had if they had survived. That's how kids were able to get it if their parents had died or so-called gone. So there's ways that people have been manipulating the systems. It's kinda like the Somalis and everything up in Minnesota and rampant across the whole US. That's what's going on here. So don't have anything on there. The other part they don't even talk about, this is me, is over the past 40 years, almost 40 years now, we've had the H-1B visas and other work visas come into the United States. People forget those visas don't pay into Social Security at all, nor do they pay into Medicare. They don't do any of that. So they're exempt. So the employers don't even pay into it either. So that's hurting their budgets. years later, when they get their U.S. citizenship, they actually start to be able to start pulling fully as all their work credits for time that they actually never put money in. So they get the full benefit without it. But also then you have the years of all the outsourcing, all the jobs that should have remained in the United States that would have paid into the Social Security fund that all have been shipped overseas. So none of this stuff, this Committee for Responsible Federal Budget has looked at any of this stuff. All they do is want to hurt you and I, the retirees. And this is not just us. These are the people coming behind us too and screw us. That's all they're wanting to do. So this is my question out to you, for those who are listening. Are you rethinking? Are you going to take it to 62? Or because before all this crap comes into play, are you going to take it to 65? Are you going to take it to 67? Or are you going to try to push the 6 to 70 to take the full maximum thing before they do this? Because this has me thinking I was going to push it to 67, but my financial advisor wanted me to push to 70. No, it's not happening. Average life expectancy for me, for men in my family, matter. I don't care if they were alcoholic, smoker, or the sanest person in the world. Never did anything wrong. The average man in the family, it's genetics, dies at 72. So no, I'm not waiting. So I may, when I turn 62 this year, a couple months. Do I take it this year or do I try to push to 63, 64 just to bring the payment up a little bit? But I can't wait for this shit because I'm going to get cut. Because I talked about this before in a program about what my Social Security should have been. I ran everything through AI based on the stock market since I had been putting money into Social Security, 40 plus years of putting money into Social Security in the same amount as you can go onto the Social Security Administration webpage and you can see how much money you put in every year. Your employer did a matching contribution. So I just looked at mine, put that all in there, and based on the stock market, I had been putting in like a TSP, like Federal Employees TSP. I had put the money in, couldn't touch it till I was 60. I would have had $2 million. $2 million. And if I got the employer's contribution included, it'd be $4 million. And think about that at age 60, at a conservative 4% withdrawal rate. That would be way more than the 1,500, 2,000 the average Social Security monthly check would be. I would have a shit ton. I would pay off my kids' debts. I would pay off a whole lot of other stuff. That's how much we're being ripped off. So again, welcome your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this? And especially for my audience really is people who are older. Is this, if this comes to play, if they start looking at this, are you going to start looking at taking your Social Security benefits sooner than later? Love to hear your thoughts on this. Okay, folks, I'm going to jump into my segment. I call it just a boomer bitching. If anybody knows, it's one of my favorite things to do. My wife will tell you I bitch a lot. She bitches about my bitching. So that says a lot right there. Just don't tell her I said that. A week or so ago, we were at, excuse me there. Again, I hate my allergies here. Socialist Republic of Maryland. We were at a family event. We had a barbecue there. The host, he cooked up a lot of really good food, a lot of chicken, a lot of, I think he had steak, and a couple of like chorizo. But it was a very nice day. Unfortunately, it was inclement weather. It rained in the afternoon when we were there. So it was raining in the afternoon. A lot of people. So I'm standing out there with a gentleman. I think it's the father of host in there. Well, not the father. I think it's that is his father. And we were out there. And then one of the young ladies, I think it's granddaughter of the father that was out there. He was how do I say, a cousin or niece of ours on my wife's side. And she's out there. She's a Gen Zer. She's like 20 something, 25, 26 years old. So we're out there and it started raining. She was kind of talking about the rain and sitting there with her grandfather. And I made the joke. She wasn't going to melt, something like the Wizard of Oz out, out there. So I made the joke. So she jumps in and goes, "Oh, you're a fan of the book, a fan of the movie, The Wicked." And I'm like, and then she mentions a character's name, LB, you know, LFB, Elfie B, or something like that. I'm like, "No, I'm not familiar with that character." "But you said you know the book." I said, "Yes, I remember the book and the original movie." And she goes, "So you saw Wicked?" "No, I've never seen Wicked. I've said I saw the original movie and I've read the book when I was a kid." And she goes, "No," she just gets mad. She started getting frustrated. And she's like, "Wicked is the original book." I said, "No, Wicked's not the original book." I said, "It's a remake." And she's getting mad and frustrated and stuff. And lo and behold, after, going back and forth, she's talking and come to find out, she really thought Wicked was the original book on The Wizard of Oz. She thought that retelling or that telling of the story was the original one. She had no understanding or did not even know there was a writer named L. Frank Baum. I think that was his pseudonym, but she had no idea that in 1900, L. Frank Baum released a book called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, which became The Wizard of Oz, and she had no idea about it, no idea it was a series of books. She thought the 1995 book by, I think I have the author's name here, by Gregory Maguire, which he did a complete reimagining of the book, Wizard of Oz, in which he made the Wicked Witch of the West a victim, uh, by being green and turned it like a DEI racist type of woke ideology thing, and that's exactly what it is. He turned it into all that, and she was all into this, and, she's mestizo. So she's all into this. It's like, "Oh, you don't understand all of this." So she's getting frustrated that I don't realize that Wicked was the original book in 1995. So I have to point out to her, "No, it's from a 1990 book, and there was a movie, the one with Judy, Garland made in the 1940s. That's the movie we used to see from, it happened right after Thanksgiving before Christmas always came out. Right, same time, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, you'd have Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and then you'd have Ten Commandments, right? For all of us who grew up in the 70s, right, 60s and 70s. So she had no idea. Finally, after going back discussing it, and I said, "Do I need to get you the book?" And she's going on and talking to me and eventually says, "Yeah, but you have to get a book on tape." And I'm looking at her, "Why would you have to get a book on tape?" "Well, I have ADHD." I'm like, "Okay." Now, I do suffer from mild adult dyslexia. I do everything with the open dyslexia font so I can read stuff. I have everything converted here. And also when I do like Word documents and stuff, I look up there. It's just easier to read. But she starts going, "Well, I can't sit down. I have ADHD. You have to understand it's what all of us in Gen Z all have." Okay. But I'm gonna tell you at that moment, my brain just went, "Holy fucking shit." My brain just went blank. And the reason why is this young lady is a school teacher at a private school. This young lady is going to school. This young lady is going to school to get her master's again in education. She's doing all of this and she can't fucking read. How do you do your master's work if you can't fucking read and you have to get it all in audio? And I know they make all these exceptions. But then the other part is, how are you teaching little kids? And she has like the young, like 6 and 7th grade, not 7, 6 or 7 year. How do you teach? How do you give them lessons if you can't? How do you receive their stuff and look at it, grade it, if you can't freaking read? So all of this, and I know I'm kind of overblown. I'm forgetting to speak today myself. I know I'm going a little bit overboard on it, but how can you be a competent teacher if you can't even read? How can you give instruction or write out instructions for your kids and read what they're trying to give you back if you can't read? It's a core foundation every teacher needs to have. So my brain just went boom, totally into left field or into the we as a nation are is fucked. So there. So yeah, it's an old person just going, "We're screwed." But that was my just a boomer bitching moment that I had this past weekend. Have you guys had anything like that happen to you? It just like struck me just out of the blue. I'm like, WTF. You cannot be serious. That's it for today. If you have any questions or comments about this episode, you can reach me at dyingtoretirepodcast@gmail.com. As always, I'm Doug. This is Dying to Retire, and I'll see you in the next episode.